Happy Wednesday! And welcome back to the channel.
Yes!
It has been a minute since we have been here in the studio crafting with you all, and boy, oh boy, do we have a good one for you all today.
Oh, yeah.
What we're going to be doing today is a very design-focused craft where I know you all have seen it. I'm sure most of you all have been like, oh, how do you do that?
Yes.
We are going to be teaching you all how to take Birthflowers, which we have a birth flower for every single month on our website.
So cute.
And we're going to be teaching you how to use those cool Cricut Design Space functions like slice and contour and all of those things, including glyphs. What do you say? Do you say gif? No,
I
gifs.
say glyphs.
Gifs are the little animated things. So we're using glyphs, not gifs. To create the stem of the flower with the name. So it's like a birth flower name, Granny's Garden type theme.
So cute.
And I think you guys are really, really gonna like it.
Yeah.
But there's a couple things that we need to talk about.
Okay.
Number one being craft weekend.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if
So
you all are
excited.
ready for this. We've talked about it. We talked about it yesterday. We went over everything. I actually just finished earlier this morning. I finished the prep video training for you all to make sure you have all of your supplies together and ready. Everything ready for Craft Weekend 2025. If you are an MGL member, if you are an active MGL member, guess what? You get your ticket for free.
Free 99, y'all.
You get your basic $7 ticket. You get it for free. You are welcome to come join us for Craft Weekend. But let's talk about the difference between a regular $7 ticket and a VIP ticket, because there is a little bit of differentiation. So if you are a regular MGL member, meaning you are yearly, monthly, you get to come to Craft Weekend for free. However, you do have a limited replay. So you have 7 days after that to rewatch it. Now, if you want to upgrade to VIP, you can get the workbook and the unlimited access with that. If you are already an MGL Plus member, you get all of that. Or if you got MGL Lifetime, then you get that upgrade already. But if you are just a standard yearly or monthly member, you get your free ticket, you get your 7-day replay, you just don't get lifetime access. So I know that we had a lot of people had that question, so I wanted to make sure that I addressed that. But we are gearing up and getting ready for an absolutely amazing weekend full of crafting, and I hope you guys are ready.
The crafts are next level.
Out of all of those,
So cute.
which one do you think is your favorite?
Okay, there's this little tote bag, and I think it's my favorite. I want one for myself.
I do. I love the tote bag, and I really cannot
Yes.
wait to teach you all how to do that tote bag, because you're going to be shocked at how simple it is.
So easy.
So
So
stinking
good.
easy. Also, we do need to talk about the fact that it is still Amazon Prime Day.
Oh,
Have you all found any better deals than what we talked about yesterday? If you have, drop them in the chats. Let us know what you all are finding. One thing that I did say yesterday, and it hadn't clicked in my brain. I hadn't put two and two together. But I was talking about how I didn't feel like the deals were as good and all of this stuff, and then I forgot about the tariffs. And I think that's why the deals might not be as good as what we're used to.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just a speculation. That's a completely objective, that might be why. But anyway, if you have found any more amazing deals, like I said, I've been looking. I've been trying to keep up to date with those. I'm really not seeing a lot more different than what we talked about, but there's still some deals to be had out there. Definitely make sure you go check out that blog post. If you missed our live yesterday, we have a blog post that has the Amazon Prime list of all of the deals that we have found. Plus, you do get a free, if you don't have Amazon Prime, you can sign up from that blog post. There is a link where you can get Prime free for 30 days.
Oh, yeah.
Just a
I
little...
need to do that myself. I don't even have it.
What?
I don't have it.
You don't have Prime?
No.
Girl,
No.
I also, listen, I don't personally have Prime. We have a family Prime account.
Where's my family at?
I don't know.
Family Prime.
I don't know. One last thing, speaking of Prime, one last thing that we do need to talk about before we go craft, and then we're going to start crafting, is because it's Prime Day and because it's July, we always like to have a big sale in July and for Prime days.
Oh, yeah.
So if you are not an MGL member, and maybe you're thinking, oh, I really want to jump into Craft Weekend, absolutely go right ahead. You can get to know us more over Craft Weekend. But if you already know us, love us, trust us, you want in on membership, you need to go ahead and hop in now because we're doing $75 off yearly membership or MGL Plus, whichever route you decide to go. And what happens, or what we have within our membership, is we bring you, first of all, how many cut files are we up to now? Like
literally lost
20,000
That's
plus
insane.
cut files, and we
Crazy.
do new releases every single month.
Yes.
Thousands of fonts that you can use with your die cutting machine, whether that be your Cricut. It's a little bit, you can still use our files with your Brother Scan and Cut, Silhouette, all of that stuff. You don't even have to have a Cricut to use our files.
No.
Sadie does not Cricut really at all, and you use our fonts and files all the time, with your digital art.
Yes.
So I mean, we have a little bit of something for everyone. Our cut files are really a big portion of it, but if you are a Cricut user and you're like, Lauren, I don't really know how to use my Cricut, I've just got one, I need to figure this out, that is where our bread and butter is, teaching you how to use your Cricut and your die cutting machine. So within our membership, we have so much education teaching you how to use your Cricut. If you think the free education you get on YouTube is good, you should see the education we have in our membership. So definitely click that link. I'm having Brooks drop that for you guys. Make sure if you do go to checkout, use code PRIME, PRIME, for that $75 off. And just a little heads up, if you are already an MGL member and you're like, I want to upgrade to MGL Plus, because let me just tell you the difference. Yearly membership, you get our basic education, you get our cut files, you get our fonts, you get so much, you get our commercial use license, all of that with basic membership. But with MGL Plus, you get access to every single course we have ever created. We have
so many.
Digital Design for Creatives. We have Maker U, which is a course we have freshman and sophomore year, where that is a course where we go deep into like more in-depth crafting that we can't do here on the YouTube channel. Yes. We have Maker's Gonna Sublimate. We have, gosh, I can't even think of all of them that we have. Many. There's so many in there. Anyway, that's with MGL Plus, you literally get everything we have ever created. Period.
Wild.
Period.
That's crazy. Aren't we losing money on that?
Probably.
Crazy.
But we listened. You all wanted a one-stop shop. You wanted a way to get everything in one go, and that is what we delivered. So
good.
With all of that being said, let's go ahead and hop over to the craft table and let's start crafting. Hi. So here at the craft table, normally I like to start off the show showing you what we've created. We've not created it yet. We've created the stuff in Design Space. So we're gonna do this all together, and we're gonna have the finished product here on the table as soon as our show is over. But with all of that being said, let's go ahead and hop overhead and let's just talk about the supplies that you're gonna need. So, sorry, we've got some moss here. Today we are going to be making a shirt with this design. So you're going to need some type of shirt, whether it's a sweatshirt, a t-shirt. We have a t-shirt and a couple sweatshirts for us to choose from. And then of course you are going to need heat transfer vinyl. So what is heat transfer vinyl? For those who may be new, heat transfer vinyl, or HTV as we like to call it, a lot of times you'll hear us call it HTV, is a vinyl that has adhesive on the back that is activated when heat is applied to it. So the way that you have to cut HTV, this shiny side, normally in years past we would call this shiny side, matte side. We are now starting to call this carrier side, carrier sheet side, and then the back. And the reason that we call it carrier sheet is because sometimes those carrier sheets are matte and not shiny. So let me show you what I mean by carrier sheet really quickly. So here you can see when we separate this out, this is our what we call carrier sheet. So we have to cut heat transfer vinyl, or HTV, on the back, and then you mirror your design, which we are going to go through today in our tutorial. So just a little brief rundown on that, why we are using this, because HTV is better when it is applied to, or HTV is made to apply to a fabric. You can apply HTV to so much more than just a fabric, but if you are working with shirts, you have to use HTV, okay? Other than that, you are going to need some type of mat. We have our Nicka light grip mat here. You obviously need a weeding tool and a Cricut mini easy press, which I'm gonna have Sadie hop out into the studio and grab for me because I don't see one in here.
I got you, girl.
I think there's one on my table.
Okie dokie.
So, other than that, which honestly you should probably already have these things in your craft room. That's about all we're gonna need for today's project. Like I said, this is going to be a very design space heavy project. So when we hop in design space, thank you, I'm going to need you all to hone in, come back to me when we get there and really pay attention, because there is a lot of manipulation with these. A lot of things that you will get lost if you're not paying attention. So let me plug this in real quick, and then we are gonna hop on over and we're gonna get started designing. Yeah. And I'm gonna move all of this to the side. And 2 seconds. Beautiful. So now we're gonna hop over to our share screen. And here is the finished product for today's little sweatshirt or shirt. This is what we're going to be creating. You can see here we have the names. This one says Emerson, Riley, Mallory, and Henry, with all of their birth flowers at the top. I mean, y'all, I just think this is so cute.
It is so darling.
It is so cute. Sharna says, you look like you've been shrinking. Girl, I've not been. We had 2 weeks off. I was telling Brooks this earlier because he also said the same thing. And I swear, I think I worked more the 2 weeks we are off than I'm not saying I don't work here, but I did more physical labor the 2 weeks we were off than I do here. So
you're just a hustling lady.
I just try. Okay. So let's go ahead and hop back to our share screen. We're gonna go over to makersgonnalearn.com, and I'm gonna show you how to find the flower that you need based on the month that you need. So you would think on our website, just type in birth flower. You really need to type in the month that you need, and all of those flowers are gonna be linked in the description of the YouTube video as well. So for example, let's just say we're doing May. You're going to type in May as in the month May, and then you're going to search, and then you can, once it comes up, if it's gonna load, there we go, which May's gonna bring up a lot more than just flowers. May is Lily of the Valley. So these are named with the month in the front and then the actual name of the flower at the end. So you kind of have to have an idea of what the birth flower is for each month. Like I said, go down in the description of this YouTube video and you can get it there. So I'm just going to show you how we're gonna do this with 1 month. And then we may play around with some others because there are gonna be some that are gonna be a little bit harder than others, but let's just start with this one. So to download a file from the Makers Gonna Learn website, you're gonna click this little arrow pointing down. What that is going to do is it is going to download it, and you can see up here in our downloads, it's going to download it as a zip file. So the reason that it downloads as a zip file is because we offer you both an SVG and a PNG version of most all of these files. I'm not gonna say every single one. One good example, this one right here is more than likely just gonna be offered in a PNG version because it kind of has that watercolor effect behind it. So things that are labeled print and cut normally just come in the PNG version. But other than that, like this one would have an SVG and a PNG. This one's gonna be an SVG and a PNG. Most all of our files, we try to give you both SVG and the PNG. So if you see it as a zip folder, that's why. So we're gonna double click that to open it up. You can see here it's zip. We double clicked it to unzip it, and here we can open up that folder, and you can see now that you have access to a PNG and an SVG. Dot says, is this similar to the garden flag you did a year ago? Yes, it is similar, but it's just a little bit different, but very, very similar. So once you have downloaded the months that you need, we are going to go back to Makers Gonna Learn, because I like to grab everything that I need at the beginning, and then that way I have everything when I hop over to Design Space. I don't have to upload, go back and forth multiple times. I just like doing it all and batching things. So now I know that I need to go to my fonts because we are using a very specific font for this project today. And we are going to be using Sweetgrass is the name. Now this font does have glyphs that has the little swoosh at the end of the letter, and that's really gonna help you. It's going to be very important that you use a font that has glyphs like that for this project. So once again, to download anything from our website, you're gonna click this arrow pointing down. With fonts, you are going to install it onto your computer, so it's a little bit different than just downloading files. So we're gonna click that arrow pointing down. What's gonna happen now is you are still going to double click this. It is then going to come into your downloads as an OTF. So that's an open typeface font. What you are going to do from there is you are going to double click this. Now, if you are on a Mac, you double click. If you're on a PC, you may have to hit Control or Command or right click it and extract the font before you upload it into your character map. So they're called two different things, HP versus Mac. If it's a Mac, it's called a font book. That's where all of your fonts live. If it's a PC, it's called a character map. It's the exact same thing, just two separate names. So we're gonna double click this to open it up, and then I'm gonna click Install Font. Now, if you want to see if a font has glyphs, open up either your font book or your character map, and then we're gonna scroll down to the bottom, which we're already here at the bottom. So once it uploads, it'll come in and it'll pop in here. This is your regular font. If you are just to go top, here are your uppercase letters, here are your lowercase letters. But if you scroll on down past the letters with like the umlauts and all that stuff, tildes, I'm trying to think of all the different ones. If you scroll on down, you can see that there are glyphs. What this means is these certain letters will go together certain ways. So like a double T. Do they have a double T in here? Yeah, so here is a double, no, that's an I and a double T. But you can see different letters, like I said, different letters will go together differently. That could be a glyph, or scrolling on down here, we can see that these letters have the swoosh on the end, and then we have some letters that have the swoosh on the front. This is going to be super important for this font, or for this project, like I said. If you want to use a different font, if you don't like this one and you want to use a different font, you can check them out. Let me find another, I'm just trying to think of one that may have more glyphs. Is Max Patch? Yes, okay, Max Patch is one that also has glyphs. You can see here, this is just normal, or if when we scroll down, Max Patch has different glyphs that has like little curly cues or swooshes at the end. This one would be another good one that you could use for this specific project if you wanted to. So just keep in mind, that's how you look for fonts that have glyphs, and you can go through and pick one and see if it has a glyph or not, okay? Sorry, I was just reading some of your all's comments. Once we have that downloaded, we are ready to start designing. So we are going to pop over to Design Space. Now, another thing that you need to be aware of, if you have not used a font before, so for example, Sweetgrass may be a new font for you and you're not finding it in Cricut Design Space, what you need to always do once you download a new font onto your computer for Cricut Design Space to recognize that font, you need to come up here to where it says View, and you need to reload Design Space. What that is going to do is it is kind of going to restart Design Space, and it's going to pick up anything new that has been downloaded onto the computer that you can use in Design Space. It's going to pick that up. So pretty much if you download a new font, if you restart Design Space, it's going to pick up that new font in the software so that you can use it within the software as well. So make sure you reload, but if you have been working on something, make sure you hit that save button before you go and reload Design Space. Okay? Perfect. Now, if we are all ready, let's go ahead and start the design process.
Let's go.
So I'm going to come over here to upload. I'm going to upload image. I'm going to pull in my Finder just because I'm a drag and drop girly. For sure, a drag and drop girly. So I love to bring in my Finder. That way I can drag and drop exactly what I need into that box instead of having to go and try to find it. So I'm just gonna drag and drop that in there, and then we are just going to upload this into Design Space. This is an SVG. We do want it as multiple layers. We don't want it as a flat graphic. If you choose flat graphic, it's going to turn it into a PNG. Like I said, we're wanting it to be an SVG, so we do it as, you can select multiple layers. This has no other colors, so we're just gonna select single layer. One color image, that's all we need. Continue, and then upload this onto our canvas, which it comes in huge. So we're just gonna size this down. Beautiful. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a text box. I'm going to come over here to my fonts. I'm going to my system fonts because we are looking for Sweetgrass. MGL Sweetgrass. And now we are ready to start designing everything. So I'm just going to use my name because May is my birth month, and I will just go from there. So first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna type the name out first. What is this? Oh, this is weird. It keeps popping up to edit, double click the text. Like I didn't already know that. That must be new. That must be a new feature in Design Space. Not sure. Now, before I turn this sideways to start kind of fixing this the way that I want it, and before I start slicing things apart, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my glyphs and I'm going to make my name look like similar to what I want. So I know that I need an L kind of with the tail on it. So I'm going to come back over to my font book. I'm going to go to the MGL Sweetgrass. Okay, beautiful. And I am going to, actually, I'm going to up the, oh, is that? I'm going to up the size a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. And I'm going to find the L that has a tail on the front. There may not be one, but we're going to find out. Well, there's one, but that's not really what I'm looking for. That's an L on the end. I mean, I guess that's good enough. So to use a glyph in your design, select it. You can see here it's selected because it has turned blue. From there, I'm going to Command C, and what that does is copies it. And then I'm going to toggle back over to Design Space. I'm going to double click that so that I am editing the text, and then I'm going to Command V it right back in there. It's really that simple. We're going to do it again together, but we're going to do it for the end. So I'm going to delete this N. I'm going to toggle back over to my font book. I'm going to find the N that has the tail at the end of it, like this one. Going to highlight it to make sure that it is selected. Command or Control C. So we're copying. A lot of times if you're on a PC, you can just right click and copy. You can use keyboard shortcuts. It's harder to right click on a Magic Mouse, and because of that, I like to use keyboard shortcuts. So for me, it's Command C. For you, it might be Control C. But we're just going to copy, and then I'm going to hop back over to Design Space. Now I'm still in editing mode because that cursor is flashing, and I'm just going to paste that back in there. And that's it. It's really that simple. Boom. And now you have the stem of your flower. You have a little bit at the bottom and you have a little bit here to work with. So now we're ready to turn this sideways at 270 degrees. Also, I don't know if you all know this, but let's just say you start here. You can manually shift and rotate this way by hovering. So if it has the diagonal arrow, that's going to be up and down. The sideways arrow is going to be out, and that's just moving your text box. And then that curved arrow is where you can do this. But if you are a very precise person and you like to make things even, I like to come up here to this top where it says rotate, and I know my degrees, and I know that I need it to go, if it went 90, it's going to be opposite. So the L is going to be toward the flower and the N is going to be at the bottom, which that might be the look you're going for, if that's what you want. So I know I need 270 degrees. I'm just going to type in 270, and it does it perfectly up and down for me. Just a little hacky hack for you guys. So now that you have your name with the glyphs exactly how you want it, we're going to start manipulating the flowers. Now this is where it might get a little bit tricky depending on what flower that you use. And another thing that you all can think about is possibly using parts of the stem as like pieces in the flower as well. And I'll show you how you could do that with certain ones, okay? So what we're gonna do now, I want this middle portion here for sure to be the top part of my flower. So I'm going to grab a shape. I'm just gonna grab a square. I'm gonna pull it over here, and I'm actually going to change it from a basic shape to a guide. Now, the reason that I'm turning this to a guide is because I can see through this guide to see exactly where this is going to cut, okay? And that's why for the longest time, I did not know that you could slice with the guide. So I do really enjoy slicing with the guide and making sure that I get it exactly the way that I want it. And what I'm doing now is I'm trying to get as much of the stem and as little of these edges as I can. Now, before I slice it, just in case I do something wrong, I always like to duplicate what I'm working on so I don't have to go back to my uploads and add it back to my canvas. I just like to duplicate it so I have the same size. But once you kind of have it even, you are ready to slice. Now, you are going to get little bits and pieces in there. Trust me, you are, but that's okay. I'm going to show you how to get rid of it, okay? So once we have it positioned where we wanted it, I'm going to drag and select both my guide and my lily of the valley that we're working with. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to duplicate my guide as well and just move it over to the side so that I have another one of those. So you have them both selected. We're going to come down here to the bottom where it says slice, and we're going to slice these two pieces apart. Think of this like a cookie cutter. We are slicing through the cookie dough and we want just one single thing of the cookie. So I'm going to delete this out, delete that, and now I have this piece that I can manipulate. Okay? So what I'm going to do to manipulate this now, if you wanted to, we could come back in here and slice all of these off, but let me zoom in and I'll show you. Because none of these pieces over here are touching this middle piece that I want, I can come here to contour and I can contour out all of these other little tiny pieces. And I don't have to go to slice anymore. I can just contour them out. And now I am left with a beautiful floral stem that I can now bring in and make fit here. Now this might be a little tricky. You see how it's kind of wonky there. We're gonna play around with it and we're gonna make it work because I don't think this looks good because that's way too far away. That doesn't look good. So we're just gonna play around with a few little things. I do kind of think this one looks good, but I think it would look better if we had some little lily of the valley coming off of this side and maybe even this side, which is why I decided to keep this piece here so that I can now manipulate and add more. Sharna says, could you flip it? Absolutely, you can flip this and I'll show you what it looks like. So let's flip it this way. We can flip it and it does look really good when you flip it and it goes very well with that. So if you wanted to just use one stem, what I would do if that was me, let's just go ahead. Let's duplicate this and I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do this. So we're going to duplicate both of these. I'm going to show you how I would do it to make it connect this way, and then let's flip this one back the opposite way, back to where it was, and I'll show you how I would connect it. Let's say if I wanted to connect it down here and add more lily of the valley on the other side, okay? So if I were to flip it, this is what I would do to make this work, because right now I still don't feel like, let me zoom out just a little bit and let me move these over here out of this way so that I can kind of see what we're doing. Beautiful. So I still don't think that it lines up as much as I would like for it to here. We can manipulate and move this around, but I really want this to look seamless. So we did use glyphs, but this still needs to be cut off. So I'm going to let's change this to pink right now so that I can see where we're at. And now I'm going to, once again, come over here to my shapes. I'm going to grab a square. We're going from basic cut to guide. We're gonna make it a lot smaller. Beautiful. And I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to place that guide exactly where I want it to slice off the end of that letter N. And we can also move that. I think that fits better. Maybe even, that stem is pretty long. So let's cut it off there. I think it fits there. And then let's move our guide. Zoom in if you have to. We're at a 600 right now. So now you can see our guide and our flower touch exactly where it needs to go. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to, oh, that's my slice result. I don't need that. Is that it? There we go. All I'm going to do is hide this. I'm not moving it. I'm not touching it. I'm just selecting it from my layers panel and I'm gonna hide it like this. Now you can see we have our guide and our name. So I am going to select this guide and select the name. We're gonna have to zoom out so you can see a little bit better. Oh, wrong name. We're gonna select both of these and now we're gonna slice again. So we're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna maybe hold on to it, maybe not get rid of it necessarily right now, and then pop our flower back in there. We can change the color of our flower now back to black, and then select these both, combine, unite. Ta-da!
So cute.
And it's all going to be about manipulation. This whole project is going to all be about manipulation and manipulating these names and flowers to fit together to make it look seamless. So once again, you can see we've done that here. So let me go back over here and show you what I would do if, let's say, the design called for the flower going the opposite way. So it's just finding, the trick with this project is finding where the florals look the best and how it flows with the name. No matter what name, no matter what floral piece it is, it's all about finding what works and maybe even trying something different. So remember I said I wanted to try something going this way, but that it was missing something here. So in my brain, it looks like it would look good if maybe I cut off like this little guy here. So once again, just in case I need any more, I'm gonna duplicate that, move it to the side, keeping the size of the flower the same because you don't wanna change that. We're going to come back over here and I want it to be a pretty solid slice. So let's do it this way. And I'm going to slice off just these little guys here to kind of come off the edge of this and just right over there, just kind of like lay over there. So we're gonna select both of these and I'm going to come down here to the bottom. I'm going to select slice. And then we will get rid of these and then bring this over. Now, it's not looking exactly like I thought it would look. But that's why that we can still manipulate this a little bit more. I think that I should have sliced it a little closer, maybe. Let's see. Oh no, I just squished it. That also doesn't look right to me. It's all about manipulation and playing around with it. So I'm gonna grab another shape. We're gonna grab a square again and we'll turn it into a guide again. And I think maybe we need to try these little guys, like the ones just right off the side here. So I'm gonna zoom in. I'm going to manipulate this like that. Bring that over to that edge as close as I can. Now I know I'm going to have to contour. I can see right there I'm going to have to contour a little bit out. And now let's zoom in just a little bit more so that I'm not. Beautiful. And we will select here, select both of these, and we're going to slice. And then we'll get rid of this and this and this, and then we'll contour out that guy at the top. Now let's see if we can zoom out and see if these fit better than the ones that I was talking about. So I do actually, I think I like that better than what I was thinking. And one thing you can do, what I do love about this is we can overlap these two, and once we bring them together, you won't be able to see that, which this is, let me show you what I mean. Let me change this color to pink. You see how these are overlapping? Not a problem, because when we go back and we combine them together, it's all going to become one image. So let's go ahead and change this back to black. And let me change the name to black because I think it comes in as that gray color. Anyway, I don't hate this at all, and I actually don't even mind that little guy there. So it's just about manipulation and finding what works for the names that you are working with and the design that you are going for. And then once you get everything placed exactly where you want it, then you're going to select every little piece in that. Make sure you come down here to combine and unite that together, and then it all becomes one layer. It really is that simple. So let's work with another flower. I feel like Lily of the Valley could be pretty simple sometimes. So let's work with another flower. Let's go back, because honestly, repetition and you all seeing somebody doing it and seeing different ways of doing it is going to help you the most. So Sadie, you are I'm an August baby. That's what I thought. Yes. August. So let's go with August. August is poppies. Poppies are some of my favorite.
I love them so much.
Poppies are beautiful. So we're gonna do Sadie's name, and I'll show you what I would do for Sadie's, especially because the poppy one, there are multiple pieces in this. So I just wanna make sure you all know exactly how to do this. So once again, we're gonna download the flower that we need. You're gonna make sure you unzip that file. We're gonna pop back over to Design Space. We're gonna grab a text. We're still using Sweetgrass, so we'll do Sadie. And then we will go to Uploads. We're gonna upload image. We're gonna bring our Finder back into view. We're going to pull in the SVG of the poppy. We're gonna go to Continue. And then we're going to upload. Now, once again, this comes in very large, so we're just going to size it down accordingly. And then we need to go ahead and grab those glyphs for this font. So we're gonna pop our font book back in here. We are going to find the S that has the tail on the front side. Maybe. There it is. We're going to copy. We're gonna go back to Design Space. And we're going to paste that S in there. Go back to the font book. We are going to find the E that has the tail at the end. Actually, what was the other font? Max Patch. Let's try it with Max Patch, just so you all can see how we do it with a different font. So let me grab another text box. Let's go over here to Max Patch. Now, Max Patch is a lot thicker, so you do have to keep that in mind. It may not work for Max Patch. Let me just, let's look and see what it looks like. I I can already tell you it's probably not going to because that's really, really thick. But let's just see what let's see what the glyphs looks like. And if it's too bad, then we'll just not do it. But I'm gonna play around with it just so you all can see. O, P, Q, R, there's an S. Do we want the little, I think I like these better. S here, copy. Nope, I don't want it all. I'm just gonna delete this and paste. Oh wow, that's a really long tail. So it may be more, so if you have a longer name, Max Patch may work better. It just depends. So we need to grab that E, which is here, copy, and paste. And then we're gonna rotate it 270 degrees. Now, like I said, this is a pretty, but honestly, once we get those glyphs on there, it gives me a lot more room to work with the stem. So maybe it will work. So I'm just gonna show you how it would work with a different font with glyphs. Because I do think we have a poppy. Yes, Emerson is also an August baby. So you can see here for this one, what we have done with this poppy, we've just added the floral piece to the very end of it. You can still do that with this one, or you can play around with it a little bit. Let's see what we come up with. So the first thing, once again, coming back over here to shapes, we're gonna grab a shape. We're going to change it from a basic cut to a guide. That way we can just see through it and know exactly what we're slicing. And then we're going to size this accordingly. I do want to duplicate this because I know that I want another piece to this, I think. And we'll make this a little bit longer so that we have more of this stem to work with. And then we are going to select both of these and slice. We'll move this away, delete, delete. And then we're going to contour out those other pieces that we don't need. Contour, contour, contour. Does anyone have any questions so far? Have you been seeing any questions, Sadie?
Not so far.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so once again, it's all about going with the flow of the font. And right here, this curve in this font wasn't really matching with the stem of that flower. So I'm once again gonna grab a shape. We're changing it to a guide. Yes, I know that we did add that glyph in there, but we want to, we wanna make sure everything works and flows together, okay? So what I'm doing, I feel like this flower will fit right there pretty well. I might rotate it just a smidgen here in just a second, but I think that's where I want the flower piece to start. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hide that, select both of these, and then we're gonna slice the end of that glyph off really quickly. And then we're going to bring the poppy back in, and then I think I'm just going to rotate it just a smidgen to fit that a little bit better, and then we'll bump it over, and maybe even just a hair more. This is where you're gonna have to take advantage of this zoom to make sure that it goes together well.
Someone has a good question.
Okay.
How would you work this project if someone has more than 4 kids? So we're talking lots of different names and flowers.
Well, it just, you can do as many as you want across. Like if you, let's say you were making a shirt and you are fitting it across the front, I would just make them smaller. If you have more than 4, you're gonna have to obviously make them smaller or stack them so it's like 4, 4, however many, it's a lot together. that's probably what I would do, is I would just make them smaller across the chest. Sadie, can you think of anything off the top that would make it look any better?
No, I was thinking what you said, like even stacking on the top and bottom.
Or like 3,
Yeah.
3, 3 to make it like a square would look visually, like design-wise would look good. Yeah, I guess that's, depending on how many you have, I would think about it. I would either do straight across, all pretty small, or I would think about a stacked 2, 2, and 2, or 3 and 3, or something to make it look symmetrical.
Yes.
Okay, somebody said, I was thinking of making this as a gift for a friend and she has 8 kids. So with 8, I think I would do, you can't do 4 rows of 2. That would look not smart. You could do 2 rows of 4 though. That would be okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be cute.
I think 2 rows of 4. Or get a really big shirt. I don't know.
Or you could do it on the back of a shirt.
Oh, now the back of the shirt
and just
would
have
look.
a bunch of flowers on the back, and then maybe a minimalist design on the front.
Yes. So if you were making this for someone and they have more than 4 or more than however many that would look good across the top, I think I would do something on the back, like a block style on the back, and then on the front just put mama or mom, establish whatever year they had their first one. The bouquets are really cute. The only thing with the bouquets is you can't have the names and make the bouquets, but I do like the bouquets. Now the bouquets are going to be a little bit different how you like place them together. It's a little bit different, but if you want them with the names and you have more than what would look good across the chest, I think I would like it on the back. I think it would look really good on the back.
I think that'd be cute.
14 grands and 1 on the way is my challenge.
Goodness.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger. Making the flower bigger looks better. So now we're just going to make these both the same color, and then we'll zoom out and combine, unite. Boom. I mean, I don't hate that. It looks more like a single stem flower.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So it's really just going to depend on what you like and what you want. Now, I do think it would be really pretty to add one of these leaves on the side. So I'm going to show you how I would do that. Let's go ahead and delete this out. And let's grab another box. We're just slicing away, guys. Just slicing away. Changing it from a basic cut to a guide. We're going to zoom back in. Once again, I just need this little leaf, but I have to make sure it gets cut off. So I can contour out everything else. Like I have to make sure it's its own little person here. About like that. Select these, slice. We're going to see how this slice result turns out. Not really. I think we can make it work. I can work with this. Okay, contour. We're going to contour this. We're going to contour up here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this leaf over here. Right there. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. I think I need to slice this little guy off. I know this is just me being meticulous, but y'all, the devil is in the details. Trust me. If you want it to look good, the devil is in the details. So we're just going to slice that little tail off there. Select these, slice, get rid of this, get rid of that, and get rid of that. Bring that there. Oh no, I just moved it. Hold on. Okay, let's move this back where I want it. That's not it. Turn it just a smidgen. That's where I want it. Select all of that, combine, unite. Boom.
Boom.
Is that something that I have missed?
Is it a little tiny speck?
Do you see that little tiny speck?
Girl, I am blind. I can't see nothing.
Undo unite. Hold on. That's not where it's at. Where is it at? Or is it on the screen? Nope, it's moving with that. It is moving with that. So let's come back to undo unite and figure out where that speck is coming from. There. It's right here. Where is it?
I see it on my screen. It's like a little flea. It's so small.
It's so tiny.
You really had me thinking I had something on my screen too.
Okay, let's figure it out. Let's work with it again. I bet it's all, there it is. There it is. Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it, guys.
Yay.
Beautiful. Now let's just move this back. Move this over here where we want it. We're going to select them all, combine, and unite them back together. Beautiful.
Cute.
Love it. And that's it. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Max Patch is the second font that I used. Just in case you were curious, I really like the Sweetgrass. It all just depends on what style you're going for, to be real honest. Oh, there's something in there that I think, yep, that Holly forgot to contour this little guy right there. Did you see that?
It was so tiny.
Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm actually just going to delete out mine and Sadie's names.
Forget us.
Bye, guys. And we're going to cut this other one, and we're going to make this sweatshirt. I'm going to make sure the sizing is correct. So if you are doing this as a sweatshirt or a t-shirt, whatever, what you're going to do, you do need to measure your area that you're working with. So let me grab a measure. I literally just had one on this table.
There's a measuring tape over here. Like this.
Got it.
Okay.
Appreciate it, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is currently 7.5, so we want it a little bit bigger. I think I want it to go, we'll go to 11.5 or 11. So I'm going to size this up. I'm just going to keep the size aspect ratio locked here, and I'm going to change that from 7.6 to, let's go to 11.5. Beautiful. Let's zoom out, make sure we still look good. So that means that it is 6 inches in height. If it's 11.5, let's go back down to 11 inches in width. And that makes it like 5 inches in height, which is more of what I'm looking for. So I like the 11 inches in width, 5 inches in height. Beautiful. Also, I don't want, if you all see my janky thumbnail, sorry about it. Sorry about it.
Are you gonna tell them the story?
So over the 2-week company shutdown, y'all, I had a pretty, actually, it was not over. It was the first day of company shutdown, if we're being honest.
The first day?
It was the Friday that I left here to go get my nails done.
Lauren.
I had gotten my nails done at 3 o'clock on that Friday.
That's just offensive.
And
That's
by
awful.
6:30, it was gone. By
Did you take
6:30.
back your nail to the salon and be like, can I get a refund?
I still have my nail. I just took it out of my purse. I just took it out of my purse. It's my new show and tell item in case anybody was wanting to
Put it on
know.
a shelf.
It is.
Frame it.
It's in my jewelry box now.
That's
Thank
crazy.
So yeah, I extracted my thumbnail completely away from my thumb. So
That is horrible.
sorry.
So sad.
So I will have a janky nail for the foreseeable future. I think, listen, y'all, if you have been around here, you know how much I love getting my nails done. I did not cry when my nail got extracted, but I cried at the thought of having a janky thumbnail.
Oh my
That's what made me cry. It's like, I can't get my nail done anymore. What if it doesn't grow back?
Take it.
Yeah. Anyway.
That is so sad.
So just pay attention to what you're doing, pretty much. I just wasn't paying attention. Okay, back to share screen. We are going to the make it screen. We are cutting this on a 12 by 12 mat with black HTV. I did not mean to do that. That should have been deleted. Let's just hide that object. And now what we are going to do is we are going to mirror our design, okay? From there, we're gonna go to continue. Somebody did ask a question. Let's see, where did you find the font book? Doris, if you will if you're talking about the font book on your computer, if you will just, if you have a Mac and you command spacebar, you're gonna pull up your Spotlight search and you just type in font book from there. If you're on a PC and you go down to the bottom left corner where it says like your hub, it's kind of the start menu. If you go down there, there should be a search bar. If you're on a PC, you're gonna have to type in character map, okay? So, now that we are there, back to our share screen, we're cutting this on everyday iron-on with our fine point blade, and we are going to load this bad boy in, and we are going to turn our mini easy press on. And then we are going to start cutting, and I'm going to move this. Beautiful. Let's see. Is PC Windows? Yes, PC is Windows, 100%. Sorry, there's so many, like there's HP, there's all the, PC, Dell, all of that. Those computers all weren't run on Windows. 10% discount on nails, yeah. I did message my nail girl and I was like, at least now I can get a discount for you only doing 9 nails instead of 10. Oh, Nakia said what happened. I was at Sam's pulling 2 buggies. We call them buggies, y'all may call them shopping carts, whatever. They've always been a buggy to me. What do you call them?
It's a buggy.
Okay, it's a buggy. Thanks. What do you call it, Brooke?
It's a Tennessee thing.
You call it a shopping cart? Oh, it's a buggy to me. It's a buggy. Anyway, I'm using a light grip mat, Nicka light grip mat, for those that are asking. I was pulling 2 shopping carts apart, and of course, you know, on the buggies, they have that back, like, where you can push them together and the back of it swings up. Well, the back of the second one caught my nail as I was pulling the first one apart, and it like fell on top of it, and I felt it. And I think I assisted the nail in coming out, because when it fell on top of it, I could feel it, and I went like that, and I jerked it out. And then so I jumped around and shook my thumb pretty much, and then I turned around, and like where I jerked it in at this angle, it like took my nail off and shot it across the little thing, and it like popped out over there.
That's so
There was no blood on the back of the nail at all.
That's
None.
so
That's how
weird.
fast it happened.
Oh my God. Rapid fire.
Like extracted it from underneath my cuticle. Like it's at the bottom, it's square.
Oh, I've seen pictures. It's a perfect nail.
You've seen pictures. It looks like a perfect nail.
That's so...
Anyway, the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Also, the lady at Urgent Care said it was the oddest nail extraction she had ever seen as well.
Leave it up to Lauren.
So leave it to me, that's right. Leave it to me.
Day 1 of your vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Samantha says, is it better to be on my phone or laptop? Samantha, are you talking about just watching or working in Design Space or working with your Cricut? Because if you're asking me about doing any kind of like design work, I'm always going to tell you a laptop. I personally hate working on a phone. I mean, Sadie has to do like a lot of her stuff on the phone. Or do you do most of your stuff
If I'm designing, I do it all on the computer.
There's
I
like
don't
no
even
comparison.
like doing it on an iPad. Like I've had people ask me, like, can I do it on my iPad? I'm like, you can, but I don't recommend it.
Yes, Kathy, my nail came out from under the nail bed. If y'all want to see a picture, I'm not going to show you the bloody
I was gonna
picture.
say, do not show them.
I'm not going to show you the bloody picture, but I'll show you the nail. Like, I have a picture of the nail. Can they see that? Okay, wait, hold on, let me go to this. This picture you can actually see, like, there's the bottom of the nail.
There's her treasure.
There's my treasured nail. That's it. Yeah, my nail came out. Anyway. In other news.
Kathy said, oh dear Lord.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said too. Oh dear Lord.
And that's it. That's all you said.
No, actually I said, you know me, I said a lot of other words that I can't say on a live stream that I shouldn't be saying, period. But I think that might have warranted it a little bit. Anyway, we're going to use our True Control knife. I'm going to cut this out. I'm leaving this on the mat, but I am cutting away the excess like this. And this is definitely going to be one that I'm going to have to use the pen tool with because she's tiny. In the middle of these holly berries, they're gone. They gone. They gone. This may have been a little overambitious of me, actually. We probably could have just stopped at the design, but we're going, we're seeing it through. We got to see it through, my boy. Got to see it through. Now would be a great time if you all have any questions about Craft Weekend or if you have any questions about the project, absolutely anything, go ahead and ask us our questions. Sadie, while I'm weeding, if you see any questions, let me know.
I got you.
And we will try our best to answer them.
I think everyone's just traumatized thinking about your nail.
Sorry, I didn't mean to traumatize everyone. I'm so sorry.
Okay, we do have a question. What True Control knife do you recommend?
Oh, the Cricut one, period.
Cricut is the only way to go.
Cricut True Control knife truly is the only, there is no other comparison. We talked about it a little bit yesterday on the live. It is on sale right now for Prime Days. Cricut has their True Control knife on sale. It is hands down the best, one of my favorites that I have ever used. And I use it for more than just crafting. I love keeping one around the house just to use in general. Like, for no other reason than I just like it.
Kathy is asking, what's the shelf life of HTV and vinyl?
It's really going to depend on brand. I think Oracal for their product, I feel like I remember reading like Oracal has a shelf life of like 3 to 5 years. Mainly, I think if you ask me, I feel like heat transfer vinyl probably has a longer shelf life than permanent adhesive, just because it's already, like the glue does not get activated unless you have heat transfer vinyl that gets hot. Like in a car, heats up, cools down, heats up, cools down. That's probably going to affect heat transfer vinyl more, but I do think in general heat transfer vinyl has a longer shelf life than permanent adhesive, but that's just my personal experience, what I have experienced. I think for permanent vinyl, I would probably change it out at least every 3 to 4 years, or if you notice that vinyl is not sticky, then the rest of it that you've had for that long probably needs to go as well.
Mary is asking where they could get the design for CraftCon weekend. There's a supply list that has everything.
Yes, there is a supply list that you should have gotten in your email when you signed up.
Yes.
If you did not get that, email customer service hi@makerisgonnalearn.com and we can get you that. And the logo for that, I think, should be in that supply list, because I think, or maybe we didn't include the logo. I don't remember. But all of the supplies and everything that you need is going to be, of course, in that supply list.
Oh, yeah. Kathy said she was wondering about the HTV shelf life because she was trying to get it to stick to wood and it wouldn't do it for nothing, but it was Cricut brand, and I would say that's why. That's why it was not sticking. We never use Cricut brand ever here in the office.
That was, I also was trying to find a good deal on vinyl and like heat transfer vinyl yesterday for Prime Day, because I know Tech Wrap last year did a pretty good sale. I didn't really see any this year, but I did see that Cricut Value vinyl was on sale, and I was like, I'm not including that because that's a no. If they're listen, Cricut does a lot of things phenomenal.
Yes.
They do a lot of great things. Vinyl is not their strong suit. Vinyl is not their bread and butter. Machines, pretty good machines. Vinyl, no. There was one instance where I used the Cricut Venture for a pretty big project that I had to do for a friend, and I used the Venture when we got the Venture. We got the I guess it's like the Smart material that's big enough for the Venture. That is the size of the Venture. I was like, I'm not gonna buy a bunch of other material. I'm not gonna waste anything. I'm gonna use this. This is gonna be fine. It was the worst HTV I have ever used in my life.
Bad.
It was horrible.
It's awful. I hate how thick the transfer tape is in the HTV. It's like, I don't know. It doesn't give you, it's hard to work with, I find.
It was very, very hard to work with. Funny story, I actually had my mom help me weed those designs because she had a lot of extra time. She needed something to do. She was in the middle of, not in the middle, my mom likes to go back and forth between her projects. So like there for the longest time she was painting, watercolors, things like that, learning how to draw. And then she went back to crocheting for a while. So she was in between her hobbies. She was in between, like I like to tell her, you're in between your hyperfixations, aren't you? Anyway, so she was like, yeah, I'll weed them all for you. It's therapeutic. I love it. I said, perfect. And she went to try to weed that Cricut vinyl. She was like, this is the worst thing I've ever tried to do in my life. I said, normally weeding is not that bad. Normally it kind of is fun, but not with that Smart material. It was the pits.
It's only fun when it weeds like butter.
Yeah, like this stuff right here.
It's so good.
Oh, goodness. Except for when my hand gets stuck to everything. What vinyl and HTV do you recommend? I'm going to move this trash can back here so I'm not throwing everything just straight in the floor. HTV, in my opinion, there really isn't a comparison to me, but to Caesar. I am obsessed with the Caesar brand HTV. I do like the StarCraft brand HTV. It's not bad. Permanent vinyl. I love StarCraft permanent vinyl. I like Oracal. Is it like Oracal 8318?
Oh gosh.
It's something. Oracal is a good brand. But I do think the Caesar brand is the leader of HTV. We did also find, crap, come out of there. I cannot get these little tiny things out. Hold on.
I want to make it known that Nathan Knight says he loves Caesar, but he's talking about the salad.
Nathan Knight can
He needs
get
to get
kicked
off
off
the
live
live
stream.
Can you ban him real fast, Brooks? Block him? Permanently, not for 30 minutes.
Okay, he likes Caesar salad. 651, that's it. I do like Tech Wrap. Tech Wrap is a good vinyl. Now, Tech Wrap has a lot of beautiful colors. But there was, what was the issue we were having with Tech Wrap? Oh, if you are using Tech Wrap vinyl, permanent vinyl, especially the holographic, just to let you all know, they do normally have a protective film over top of it, because for the longest time we did not know that they had a protective film over top of their holographic or shiny vinyl, and we just thought it was terrible vinyl, and we weren't cutting it properly. So just in case you were wondering, if you've ever had that issue with Tech Wrap, if you've ever used Tech Wrap and had an issue, check to see if there is a thing on it. How have the supplies, Liz? Well, okay, Mary says she can't find the CraftCon design. If you're talking about the CraftCon logo, Mary, it's no longer CraftCon, it's Craft Weekend. And I will see if the Craft Weekend logo, we're actually not, none of the, unless you just want to make your own merch using the Craft Weekend logo, none of the projects that we are making actually use that specific logo. But if you're wanting to make merch for yourself, we can probably get you all that file. I'm almost done weeding. There's like 3 more. Oh no, nope, we don't need you to turn off. I'm just about ready. I know, I'm a slowpoke, I get it. I just was overly ambitious and did not think of how much this was gonna be to weed when I cut it. Okay, we're done.
She's cute.
We're done? We're done. I'm just checking and making sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. I think we're good. I don't need to iron my hair in there though, so let me get that off. Beautiful. So now, all we're gonna do, I'm going to line this up. Little hack, I like to find the middle by placing my designs side by side and then getting that middle line there. And now I can line it up with the middle line of the crease of the shirt. Like that. And then we're ironing this down. Mini easy press, heat setting of 2. And after this, we're gonna do a peel and we'll be done. I think this is this might be a shirt for Holly's mom. She gonna be excited. And that's it. Look how cute.
That is so darling.
I love
That's
it.
so cute. I need to make one for my Nana. I feel like every year we always get her a gift with all of her grandbabies' names.
Yes.
She would die over that. It's so cute.
I love it. Yay. So, what did you guys think about this project?
That is so cute.
Let us know, and honestly, I can't wait to see how you all take different names, different birth flowers, and use your imagination, whether it be finding a different font that fits your design or adding in those little leaves on the sides or extra flowers. Honestly, there are so many skills that you learned here today that you can take and truly make files, manipulate files and make them your own. Don't just let it stop at birth flowers and names. Yes. Realize that the skills that we learned today, that slicing, that combining, the contouring, all of that can be done literally on any file that we have on our website. Yeah. I don't know if you all realize this, but there are so many times that we find one little tiny piece of a file that we like. Mm-hmm. We don't like anything else for what we're looking for, and we'll contour or slice out that one little piece and use it for a design. It really is one of the things that there is one skill that I feel like you need to, it's more of a, I won't call it a mastery level, but it's not beginner level. But once you get past that beginner level, the first skill that I would truly hone in on is that slice and that contour and the combine feature.
I feel like you unlock a whole new group of cut files after you do that, because you start to see the potential in literally everything.
Yes, it's one of those things that it opens your eyes to so many different things. Now, if you want to recreate something exactly like this using the files and the fonts that we have, do not forget, our membership is on sale right now, and it's going off sale. It will only be on sale until July 11th at 12 o'clock or midnight, 12 o'clock, midnight Eastern Standard Time is when our membership will no longer be on sale. It'll be back to regular price. So make sure you get locked in that yearly membership or MGL Plus using code PRIME, P-R-I-M-E. It's going to get you $75 off and locked in at that price, meaning every year of your membership, you're going to pay the same thing. Your price is never going to change once you get locked in or grandfathered in, as we like to call it. So check that out. And also, if you haven't already gotten your craft weekend ticket, what's stopping you?
Literally, what is stopping you?
You
have to be there.
Or they could get a twofer, and they could get yearly membership and get their ticket for free.
I would just do that.
I mean, that's the route that I would go. I don't know about you guys, but that's the route that I think I would go.
Oh, yeah. Get a freebie?
Why not?
Lisa had a question. She said, are you going to seal your shirt? Did you guys know that you could seal your shirts? Did y'all see that video?
Okay. So this is...
It sounds crazy.
This is not really... This one, yes, this one would be a fun one to do it on.
Yeah.
We will do a live with that specific product showing you guys how to use it. So let's talk about sealing versus not sealing. I do think, listen, that product blew my mind. It's the Magic Seal Matte. What it does, I won't say it seals it, meaning it doesn't put a sealant over top of it. Mm-hmm. However, what it does is it makes the HTV, it makes the DTF, whatever you are putting over top of it, it's like it makes that product infuse with the fibers of the shirt more so that it doesn't lift up. It's insane. We'll have to do a full live on it, talking about it, showing you how to work with the spray, all of that stuff. The matte doesn't have a spray. Now, there is a spray that you can spray over top of it. I do think that the spray is mainly going to be best for DTF, in my opinion. And the matte is good for is going to be better for HTV. So, but the matte is a reusable matte, so I do love that about it. But yeah, that was a good question. We will do a whole live on that.
It's
probably.
So fascinating.
It really is.
Yeah, because everyone was freaking out. They're like, you seal your shirts? We never done that.
I know. It was something that we just stumbled upon.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already, like I said, make sure you jump in, grab membership for $75 off using code PRIME. Or if you just want to join us for a weekend, you're more than welcome. We would be more than happy to have you. And grab your craft weekend ticket. Y'all, like I said, it's only $7.
That's
if you just want to get basic for craft weekend, it's $7. If you're an active MGL member, you get the basic ticket for free. You can upgrade to VIP if you want to. What VIP offers is you get unlimited, you get lifetime replay of craft weekend, plus you get a little bit more of an in-depth to like book, a workbook. And yeah, so make sure you grab your ticket for craft weekend, grab your membership, and we will actually see you guys back here tomorrow. Me and Tanner will be back tomorrow doing kind of like a wrap up, talking about prom, what's going on. And we'll see you guys back here on the channel tomorrow at 1:30.
Yay!
Bye guys.